Hi, this is Alex with Maple Leaf Coffee Roasters in Roselle. I'm here to talk about our October 2025 Club Coffee, a natural process coffee from Honduras. Check it out. So as a reminder, the Coffee Club is a program here at Maple Leaf where we bring in a members-only coffee every month, roast it 3 different ways, send out a bunch of notes and information along with it. And sometimes we run little experiments like we're doing this month and last month, where we bring in the same coffee twice with 2 different processing methods. And this happens to be one of those months where we're doing one of those little experiments that gives our club members a chance to kind of explore a couple levels deeper with some coffee. And we're always excited to do this kind of thing with our members. So this month, we have the exact same coffee that we had in September, just as a natural process coffee. So this is the very same Honduran coffee that just went through a natural processing step, as opposed to the wash process coffee that we had in September of this year. So this is one of those fun times where I get to kind of show people what that different processing method does to the flavor of the coffee. So this month we have that same coffee, as I said. And I try to, with these sorts of months, roast the coffee in the same way, or very close to the same way, with a different kind of, with the same steps as close as I can. Try to get it to be the same kind of roast level overall, and even try to get it to be the same amount of development time in the coffee, so that it is removing as many of the variables as possible in the way that the coffee is roasted, so that I try to get something where people can kind of have a side-by-side with the last month and the current month to see kind of how the flavor changes as a result of that processing method. So usual kind of step with this coffee this month, we have our light, medium, and dark. Very similar flavor profile at the base, and very similar roast times and development times for these 3 coffees. So this is what I'm hoping is a chance for people to see that the 2 different processing methods, what it does to that flavor of the coffee overall too. So this happens to be one of those coffees where the aroma of the grounds and the coffee itself do not perfectly align with the way that the coffee tastes. And I'm always kind of amazed when this sort of thing happens, because it is something that can happen from time to time, but isn't super common to see. The natural processing method in general will add another level of complexity and interestingness to the coffee, for lack of a better term. So you'll get something that has a little bit more sometimes of our fruit-forward kind of exotic flavors to it. And this is one that you see that kind of fruity sensibility in the coffee, but really more so in the aroma of the grounds, as opposed to the overall flavor of the coffee itself. So Honduran coffees, conventionally speaking, have that kind of honey, cinnamon, low acidity sort of feel to it. And I definitely saw that the general flavor profile that you see out of the Honduran coffees in these 3 coffees, or these 3 roasts itself. But with the natural process coffee this month, you get that extra level of complexity that's really fun out of a natural process coffee too. So starting off with the light roast coffee, this is the one that had that most exotic kind of natural process scent to it. You had a kind of a sweet, fruity, almost melon and kind of grape-like sensibility in the coffee itself. A kind of creamy, buttery kind of texture to it, with a little bit of like a nuttiness, and overall just a very low acidity coffee, not sharp at all. This is a very mellow, easy to drink light roast that I'm sort of hoping that everyone that chose the light roast last month chose the light roast again this month, because it's going to be very easy, very approachable to drink. Something that has that kind of easygoing flavor that a lot of Honduran coffees do. The flavor of the coffee, the brewed coffee itself, had still a little bit of that fruitiness to it, but not as strong. Turned into more of like a sweet cinnamon, very balanced flavor overall in the brewed form. Not super strong light roast by any means, not to like really blow you out. Just a very mellow, nice kind of fall flavor to it as well. So I really enjoyed that light roast quite a bit. On the medium roast, this is where you turn into your more normal, like chocolatey, more of a honey kind of hint. That fruitiness that we saw in the light roast, in both the scent and the flavor, was still there, but it turned more of like a berry tone. So it had a more juicy, more creamy kind of a finish to it as well. And a little bit of cool, like maple syrup, almost gingerbread sort of feel. That was a nice transition to that dark roast, where we did see some interesting kind of like chocolatey notes, which we'll get to in just a second too. More of a milk chocolate tone in this coffee. Once again, very low acidity, not a super strong coffee by any means. Nice and mellow, easy on the stomach. that sort of thing, normal kind of medium roast flavor set there too. On the dark roast side of things, this is where we see our normal kind of maltier texture to the coffee overall, a kind of bittersweet flavor that almost bordered on like a German chocolate kind of flavor in the brewed coffee itself. The smell of the coffee was had that more that kind of chocolatey texture, a little bit of that creamy vanilla feel to it. But once we got into the brewed form of this coffee, this is where it turned into that richer, fuller bodied flavor, more of a dark chocolate kind of tone to it overall. A little bit of a fruity flavor to this dark roast, but not super strong fruity, more of like a subtle cherry kind of flavor, kind of bordering a little bit on what you normally see in some of the dark roasts, but not too strong or bold or bitter of a flavor on that dark roast too. I thought this was a really pleasant dark roast that had a kind of fullness, richness of flavor without being something strong and in your face, as opposed to some of the other Central American coffees that we'll have in the club or on the normal shelves from time to time. So this is in one of those months where, like last month, I suggest that if you chose a certain roast level last month, that you choose the same thing again. So whatever you went with in September, this is what I'm going to recommend that you go with this month as well. Don't change course midstream on this one. It definitely is going to be something that you'll want to be able to compare side by side those two different months. So this is a fun comparison to have this fresh seasoned Honduran coffee with the two different processing methods to try. So looking forward to everyone giving this one a shot this month, and we'll see you back in November for another great club coffee. Take care.